What's up, guys? We back at it again. Cortes here with my good friend Mark from Movement Mortgage. Mark, how's it going, buddy?
Man, it's going great. Man, just getting ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow. But I'm taking the time away from my family to be here with you, answering some mortgage questions. How you doing?
Yes, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. So, guys, as y'all knew, I was going to bring my good friend Mark, and I was going to allow for my friends, my followers, any type of peers that had questions to feel free to ask. And I wanted to bring him to be able to answer these questions. So, Mark, are you ready to answer these questions?
Oh, man, hit me with them. I'm ready.
All right,
I'm
cool.
ready.
All right, perfect. So these questions were asked through Facebook, Twitter, and also through Instagram, and a few were through YouTube. So all these questions were actually asked by people just like you that are curious to wanting to buy. So first question, Mark, what is the requirement for a down payment?
Yeah, man. No, that's a great question. I've actually run across this a lot lately where people have been like, hey, so is it true you got to put down 20%? No. No, it is not true. You have to put down 20%. We got loan programs where you can put down 3%, 3.5%, even nothing. So, yeah. That's
So when you're talking about nothing, let's clarify the nothing part.
Mm-hmm.
What is that necessarily called?
So there are different types of zero down programs. We have a true 100% loan, things like the VA or USDA, but then there are also down payment assistance programs. Most of those are going to be based off an FHA with you get a first mortgage 3.5% down, but you get down payment assistance. Like Georgia Dream offers up to $10,000, or if you're like a public servant, $12,000 to use towards that down payment. And we even have a program with a first and second mortgage. There's a FHA first. You can do a 3.5% second, or even a 5% second to help with the closing costs. So those are all 100% loans that are available.
Right. And for you people that are watching, me and him have actually closed on these loans with Georgia Dream that we have had buyers that literally have had to put nothing down because your boy negotiated the closing costs and my man took care of the loan. And literally we've had buyers that have had to put nothing down. But you do have to be qualified. You do have to get the credit checked.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to have the credit where it needs to be. But besides that point, let's go ahead and talk about another question. Is it true that there are programs? Well, actually, we just answered that question, so we're gonna skip that question because the question was, is there programs that don't require any type of down payment?
Yep.
Which we just answered that. He just answered that, so we went a little ahead of the question. But all right, next question. When do you think is the right time to buy?
Man, I jokingly will tell people, the right time to buy would have been back at the beginning of COVID when the rates dropped, but the prices hadn't gone up yet. But, that's not possible. So when is the next best time? It is right now, right this minute, man. Rates have come down. They're no longer they were up almost as high as 8 at one point. Now they're in the low 6s, high 5s, and the home prices have come down. It's really become a buyer's market.
Completely
you can
agree.
Speak to that, right?
Yes, I completely agree. A lot of buyers are being able to have a lot more leeway to be able to do a lot of negotiating. Either is referring into closing costs or it's even reducing the price of the home. I've been able to get free fences and refrigerators, and this is coming from new construction homes, but even resale homes. I've been able to negotiate up to $15,000 on reductions, which is a lot of money. So absolutely, completely agree with you. But also I do say that the right time also to buy is whenever you're ready, because it also takes a lot of time and effort on your behalf to have to put in the work to be able to get to that point. So I like that answer. So this one, which was a funny question to me whenever I read it, but this is actually, I am curious to know. So what is the 411? What is the scoop? What are they saying out there in them streets about the 50-year mortgage? Is this a real thing? Like, what's going on out here? Like, the world's coming to an end if this is what's going on. But tell us about this.
Okay, well, I've been asked, is it really going to happen? Well, it's something, coming from the government. So we got to take it with a grain of salt with that. Are they going to do that or not? Maybe, maybe not. Only time will tell. I can tell you, though, that it's not going to be like some type of life-saving, holy grail save your loan program. The problem is that rates are partially based on the length of the loan. If you get a 30-year fixed rate, it's going to have a higher rate than a 10 or a 15-year fixed. It's about a 1% difference to the rate. So you get a 50-year loan, that's great. You're extending the term to lower the payment, but the rate's going to be higher. I ran some numbers just for the heck of it, just to see what would happen if you take a 30-year fixed rate versus a 50-year fixed rate. And the only difference being that the one was 30-year with it was a 5.99 rate I ran it with, and then I did a 50-year with a 6.99, assuming that it's probably going to be about 1% higher.
Right.
So would you believe that the 50-year actually had a higher payment than the 30-year?
That's crazy.
Because of that rate. And then
that's insane.
Then you if you just think about how much interest you add. Man, no one's going to pay it over 50 years. That's just nuts. But if you just look at the amount of interest you're paying, it's more than double the amount with a 30 years. So, yeah, maybe it'll happen. Will it help? I don't think so.
And also, to clarify, people, whenever they're buying houses and they see those 30 years and they see that page that, when you're on the closing table and it's like all the payments that are going to be due, nobody does that, guys. Like, come on now. Like, the smartest thing to do is to live in that house for 3 to 4 or 5 years. I mean, depending on your situation. But nobody is going to fully pay off a loan. And if they do, you didn't pull the equity. You didn't maximize the funds that you should have been able to maximize. Because I've seen a lot of cases that these homes are, 30 years old and they should have done something 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whenever the market was a better situation for that seller. So yeah, totally agree. 50 years, that's a no-go. So here's another question. If you are in an adjustable mortgage loan and the mortgage loan keeps increasing, are you having a hard time? And if you're having a hard time paying it, what are your options?
Oh man, first of all, I want to say I feel for this person asking this question because whoever their lender was, the lender did not do them justice. They should have totally explained everything in detail. Hey, this is fixed for 5 years. After that, it's going to start adjusting. It's going to adjust, every so often. Here's the max amount it can adjust. If it does that, it does this to the payment. They should have come up with a plan for them. Like, hey, most people live in 3 or 5 to 7 years. You either need a plan on selling that home, buying a new one before this adjusts, or they should have had a plan to refinance. So, obviously didn't happen with this person. So I feel for them. I'm sorry that happened. There are better lenders out there, I promise you. But so that's too late for you. You're in this situation now. So if you are still current with your mortgage, I would highly recommend reaching out to a qualified lender and seeing if you can't refinance. Get you in a fixed rate loan. That way the payment, it's going to stay the same. It's not going to adjust. If you're already behind on the mortgage, then it becomes the time to reach out to your servicer. Your current loan servicer, they've got an entire department that just helps people out when they get behind. They can look at doing a loan modification. That's where they change the payment, they might extend the loan term, make it a longer term. They might even temporarily lower the payment or maybe even put it on hold for a while. But there are options, and that would be the servicer to reach out to for those.
Now, is that something that you're able to do if they needed your assistance with that?
With a refinance, by all means. I would love to help them out just to see what we can do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you hear it first. If y'all need help, you already know who to call. So that's great information. I do like that, and that's very important, guys. This is why I have my preferred lender, because I have been in situations that when you don't have the right team to be able to close a deal or to be able to get something done, it makes things a lot harder. I've experienced it as an agent. I've also experienced it as a buyer when I bought my first home. And Mark actually was able to help me on my second home. And that whole transaction on the lending side was absolutely amazing. He was always available, always there to answer all my questions. And believe it or not, when I went through that process of buying my home, because we bought a brand new construction home, when I went through that situation, that is what made me become a real estate agent, was going through that process. I learned a lot through that, so I appreciate Mark. We've known each other for over 3 years now, and I Beyond blessed. Beyond blessed.
Thank you.
So the next question. What is the first step someone should take if they want to buy a home in the next 6 to 12 months?
And I think, just my opinion, but
Call Cortes.
Yeah. Call Cortes, number one. Number two, call me.
Let's go. That's right.
Get pre-approved, man. There's a lot of questions like, how much am I going to need to put down? What's my payment going to be? How much do I need to start saving money? What am I going to qualify for? Get all those answered. Go ahead, apply for a loan, get pre-approved. And then if there is some sort of problem, like, oh no, your score is not quite where it needs to be, or with this income, you can only qualify for, this sales price. We can figure that all out well in advance. That way, you're not waiting until like, oh, my lease is going to expire in a month. I got to find a home. I got to do it now. And then you finally apply and find out that your credit's dumb.
I totally agree.
So apply for a loan, get pre-approved, do it sooner than later. That way, if there is a problem, you can come up with a plan to get past that. And then when your lease is up, you're ready to move, you're golden. You've already taken care of all the heavy lifting.
Correct. And I totally agree with what Mark is saying. It's so true. We've came across a lot of situations that people are rushed because their lease is about to expire, or they're about to be evicted for whatever type of crazy reason. I mean, we've seen some crazy stuff, and a lot of times, it takes time to be able to get you to the point to be able to buy. So that's why it's so important to just, when we say, oh, call Cortes or call Mark, we actually mean that, because there is a process that has to be made and it has to be done to be able to see if you're able to. There's situations that I've came across that someone's like, oh, I won't be ready to buy until a year because I gotta pay off my JCPenney's credit card, but they got an 800 credit score. We don't need to pay off that little JCPenney's credit card. You ready to buy right now? Mm-hmm. And we've been able to help a lot of people in that situation. So I couldn't agree more. So next question: how do closing costs work, and what percentages should people expect?
Okay, so closing costs are basically fees or costs associated with purchasing a home. The fees are kind of lumped into three categories. There's lender fees, attorney fees, and then state taxes, state and county taxes. Then there's going to be some other things like your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance. You got HOA fees if you're buying in a neighborhood with an HOA. You got prepaid interest depending on when you close in the month. You got to pay interest. So those are all different costs associated with the loan. As far as a percentage, it's kind of hard to just say it's definitely this 1% because there's an option to buy down the rate. If you're paying 3 points to buy down the rate, that adds 3% to your cost. But on average, anywhere between 2 to 5%.
Right. And and when a lot of people get scared when they're buying because they're like, oh my God, I have to have a down payment. I have to, pay for the closing costs. But, everything is negotiable whenever it comes to those situations. If you have a good agent, they're going to know your financial situation. Mm-hmm. When we work together as a team, I fully know what's going on with my client and what he actually needs help with. So if we know that all we're coming to the table is your down payment, for instance, and Mark tells me, hey, Jonathan, we need, $10,000 in closing costs for this buyer because mm-hmm. that's all we have. We only have the down payment. And that's when I come in hand and I try to negotiate and try to make the deal work to make the numbers work for our clients. So, yes, that's why working as a team, working as a group, very important to be able to get that done. So, yeah, it's hard to know exactly a number, but that's why you got to give us a call so we can see what we can get done. So what's the best advice that you'll give someone nervous about today's market?
So it's funny. I'm going to repeat myself. It's get a good team. Get yourself a qualified realtor, someone that knows the market. Like my man.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
Jonathan here. Get yourself a good lender, someone that knows what they're doing, that's got experience, and people that are not looking just to make a paycheck, but they're looking out for you.
Facts.
That's the best thing, is to get yourself a good team. You got some people behind you. They're going to be able to fully explain the complete process from step A to B, C, D through the closing. And you also, I would say, again, get pre-approved. Go ahead and apply, and then see exactly what you're working with, if there's problems or not. It's one thing, people get nervous, they get scared when they just start thinking about all the what ifs. They don't have the information. So get the information.
Right.
Then there's no what ifs. You know what you're working with, and there's nothing to be scared or nervous about.
Completely agree. Now, when you say, do the application and apply, where can you apply at?
Man, that's going to be my website. I don't know if you're going to be able to put it up there in the video or not, but it's www.movement.com/Mark.Hoffmann. Hoffmann is Hoffmann, 2 F's and 2 N's. My parents just had to make it difficult for me.
That's right. So for instance, guys, if that's something that you guys are interested in wanting to do, kind of just to see where you guys are at, shoot me a text, give us a call. We'll send a link to you guys. We can send it through the email. It's a very, very easy way to do it. My clients do it all the time. It takes literally 15 minutes of your time. And see where you're at. And it's nothing to be nervous about. Whenever you're doing this is not something to be scared or to be worried or, it's a game plan. You're planning your future. You're planning on what you're wanting to accomplish. Anything that you want to accomplish in life, it's a process. It's not just something that just magically happens and it's like, we'll see what happens today. It doesn't work that way. So this is the best way to be able to plan where you're at. Like I said, we've had buyers that literally are able to buy and they weren't expecting it because they don't it's not like everybody checks their credit score every single day, or checks to see where they're at or where the market's doing. That's what we are here for.
That's right.
Because we actually look at numbers and houses and prices and loans and interest rates and all that crazy stuff on a daily basis. Why? Because we're crazy. So, all right, guys. So last question. What is the biggest reason buyers get denied and how can they avoid it?
Okay, I'm actually going to give you a 2-for-1, and they're kind of related. I'm going to say the number one would be credit score, and number two would be debt to income ratio. So credit score, everyone knows what a credit score is. With the mortgage industry, we pull scores from all 3 bureaus. We throw out the high, we throw out the low, and we use the middle. So you can have one score that's really bad. As long as that middle one's okay, we're going to be good. We need at least, most lenders need at least a 580, me included. So if you have that, then you check that box. The next thing would be that debt to income ratio. That's where we look at your income versus your new mortgage payment. That's one ratio. Then there's a second ratio where we look at your income versus the new mortgage payment plus any other debt payments. Depending upon the loan program, you can use you can have a total debt of up to either 50% of your income or 57% of the income. So what can people do to help this? The number one thing is, I think, pay down debt, and starting with credit cards, because credit cards actually affect your score the most. If you have a maxed out credit card, that can trash your score. You have several of them, it really makes a big difference. So you pay those down, pay them off, that's going to improve your score, plus it's going to get that out of that debt to income ratio, lowering the debt to income ratio. So that's a 1-2 punch to help you qualify.
Correct. And that's why it's so important, guys, to whenever you guys are starting this process, it allows us to be able to help you and guide you correctly of what you need to pay off. Because there is certain situations that a certain credit card is causing more effect than another one. Like, let's say you have that JCPenney's credit card. We're going back to the JCPenney's because I have history with that company. But when I paid that credit card off, guys, let me tell you, I was so excited. But yeah, for instance, let's say you have a JCPenney's credit card and then you have a Best Buy credit card. Let's say the Best Buy credit card is causing more damage than the JCPenney's. Mark is going to tell you, hey, I would recommend to pay off that Best Buy instead of paying off that JCPenney's. You may think, oh, I think I should pay off the JCPenney's one instead of the Best Buy. See, that's why, guys, it's so important to have the right people guide you through this so you are not making any type of mistakes or just doing things that you're just not aware of. Now, Mark, I do have a question. Does it cost anything to talk to you or to do this application? Or, is this something that's going to cost somebody to reach out to you and be like, hey, Mark, I saw Jonathan's video, man, and I really liked it. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to know where I'm at. Does it cost them anything?
Nothing more than some time. And there's no application fee. There's no upfront costs, nothing. You just give me a call. I actually like to have a conversation first before just doing a loan application. I want to talk to you. I want to figure out what your needs are, what you're looking to do. Because then after just an application, that's just numbers. That's a static picture. But I want to talk to you, get to know who you are and how I can best serve you. So give me a call. We'll have a conversation, see what your goals are. Then we can look at the loan application. There's no cost for it, like I said. We can. A lot of people are worried about hard pulls on their credit and affecting the score. I have something called a soft pull. Yes. Can do that. It doesn't change your score, doesn't hit your score at all. So we can just look at things. But yeah, there's no cost other than just some time, some investment in yourself, really.
Correct. Yeah, I get that question a lot. Like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to, call Mark because I'm afraid of dropping my credit score tremendously. And at the end of the day, guys, like you just said, it's literally a soft pull. We're not doing any kind of hard pulls until we're already like actual under contract. We're in the process of actually buying this house. We're deep in it at that point. So yeah, it's not going to affect your credit like you think it is. And like I said, a soft pull, it's a few little points going down, but this is the process. This is like the first step. It's just like, whenever you're born, do you start running? No. You got to crawl, you got to walk, and then you start the running. So everything is a process, guys. But yes, I appreciate everyone that watched the video for this long. I appreciate that everything that you guys took the time to ask these amazing questions. I appreciate Mark for coming all the way here to the office at the KW.
Happy to.
This guy is a really good dude. I highly recommend him to anyone. He has an amazing heart. He's super smart. He's very caring, and he knows his stuff. And it's important to work with people that have those type of qualities because that it's going to get done correctly. I have experienced a lot, and I have closed with a lot of deals with different lenders, and I know a lot of good lenders, but this guy right here, highly recommend him, guys. So if you guys are needing to call us, where can they call you, Mark? Tell them.
404-695-9504. That's my direct line. You won't get no one else. You get me.
That's right. So I'm going to make sure to put his number down and his contact information on the bio on this video. So I will make sure to put all his information. If you guys do reach out to him, make sure you tell him, hey, I saw Cortes's video. I know what's up. I know the vibes. So you already know what time it is, guys. Thank you so much for watching it once again. Mark, thank you so much for coming, my man.
Thank you.
You have been a true blessing, guys. If you guys are looking to buy, sell, or lease, or invest, y'all know who to call.
Yeah.
Y'all know the vibes. Call Cortes. Let's get it. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I appreciate everyone. And may God bless. Peace.